Hey, what up? It's Brad with Home Love Construction, and in this video, I want to talk to you about financing renovations. This is something that we get asked about all the time. Actually, I'll show you. Whenever we're looking at doing videos, we do this kind of like search thing. This is actually generated by some AI program, and it shows us the popularity of different searches. So I try to make videos about what people are actually interested in. And on that little thing, it shows the search volume for different items and the searches for financing renovations, especially room additions, is freaking off the charts. It's like literally like 10x any other topic related to home additions. I mean, there's how do I plan it? How do I build it? How does it work? Can I do it myself? All that stuff. Financing is freaking off the charts in relation to everything else. It dwarfs everything. So I wanted to give you the full comprehensive guide. As a contractor, how does addition financing work? Because you're gonna get this bullshit from lenders that they're like, it's so easy. You can do it in 3 days flat. And it's like, look, I'm gonna give you the real deal. So first off, can you do it? Yes, absolutely. We have currently 4 or 5 major, I'm talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars renovations going on right now, adding space to people's homes, fully financed. Well, I shouldn't say that. Most of them have a little bit out of pocket, but it's like 80 to 90% financed money for these very major projects. So these people who have a decent amount of money and really good credit, and they're doing something that's gonna add a lot of value to their home, they literally are like, I don't wanna pay for this. Most of these people, by the way, could actually pay for this. But what they do is they get the bank to pay for it instead, which, I mean, I think is brilliant. As long as we as a contractor don't have to come out of pocket to do the job, I have no issue with it at all. So that the first thing is, yes, it can be done. No, it is not as simple as the mortgage lenders make it out to be, okay? They have a really great tendency to just gloss over all the nitpicky details and just be like, yeah, you can get financing, it's great, we do it all the time. And it's like, what, you did it 3 times last year? That's not all the time. So I wanna actually give you the real deal on how to get this done. And I wanna start with a little story about a guy who is doing a major renovation with us, and it's about 85% finance. Actually, it's probably closer to 90% finance with a couple of changes we made. And I wanna explain to you how he did that. Okay, so this guy, we did the plans, right? We have the plans for his project. It's all design and whatever. And he goes to try to start get his loan, right? And he goes to a couple people, and first he finds that a bunch of mortgage companies that he was told do lending, they're like, oh, we thought you meant a new home build. No, we don't lend on renovations. Like we don't have a renovation loan program. So that was the first thing, is he had to find a place who actually had a renovation loan program. Now, luckily, I'm his contractor, and I was like, dude, just go talk to this guy at this company. They've got a renovation loan program. I know, because I had seen him finance some other people, and I talked to him a lot about it. So he gets going. And what was needed is he had to basically show roughly 3 things, maybe 4. So he had to show what he was actually doing with a final plan set. So he didn't need like the final plans. They also had to be stamped by an engineer, which is interesting because if you get to the point of having to have something stamped by an engineer, you've got to know that that's what you're doing. Otherwise, you've got to pay re-engineering and blah, 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 all this BS. So we had to get basically complete with the design process, which also meant we had to be done with the quoting process. So we had to go all the way through the process of the design and the quote before we knew whether he could get the money or not. And by the way, this is what you're gonna have to do if you're gonna finance your renovation. You're gonna have to get a contractor to go all the way through the design and all the way through the quote. Now, that is something you're gonna have to pay them for. I mean, I'm sorry that if that's like an offensive thing, but that is the reality of the situation. You're gonna have to pay the contractor to get the design and engineering done, and also to get the final quoting done and arrive at, okay, this is the plan, this is what we're doing it, this is how much it's gonna cost. So we had to have all that done before we could even do a real application. I mean, we did the pre-qualification with him, but it's kind of doesn't matter. So we had to get all that done, right? Then we send it off. And then there's, a couple weeks of waiting and blah, 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 and clarifications and draw schedules and who's providing what, et cetera, et cetera. So all that had to happen. Then, once we got like, okay, this works, then we had to go through an appraisal process. At that point, they had to have an appraiser come and look at, okay, what's the existing house? What are we building based on the engineered plans? And then what have other homes that are at the size of what we're building, at the size and finish level of what we're building. What do those homes appraise for? Not comps to the existing home, comps to what the home is going to be once the renovation is done. That's an important point that people get tripped up on, and they can't think with, oh, my home is literally going to be worth what that bigger home on the lake is worth. If my house is also, I'm going from a little house on the lake to a big house on the lake, I'm now going to appraise like the big houses on the lake. So that was one thing that they weren't thinking with. So once we did that, there was literally actually a home that had just gone under contract and actually literally got appraised like that week, which was just above the number that we actually needed. So we literally just made a case to the appraiser. Like literally, I actually went out and met the appraiser, and you know, your contractor could definitely do that for you, and it'd be a good idea, and explain blah, 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 this is what we're gonna do, yada, yada, yada. This is how many square feet we're adding, and these are what the other homes in the area are appraising for right now. So we literally did that with this guy, showed him the other home on the lake. It was, you know, I think the home appraised for 1.5 million or something like that. And that's basically, it was about the same size as what we were completing. I think it maybe had one or two actually less features than what we were building, which, you know, that just worked in our favor. And then when he saw that, then boom, we got the appraisal for this house on what it's going to be. And then from that point, once the bank got the appraisal, then it was very rapid. It was like 2 weeks, boom, we got approved. I think the first check got cut like a couple weeks after that, and then we were actually able to roll and get the project going. Now, realize that because we had to do all this front end work before we got approved, and by the way, the homeowner didn't want to submit the permit until we knew we were getting the financing, which totally makes sense because the permit's not cheap. I mean, the permit fees on his loan were a couple grand. So we didn't want to do that until we actually knew we were for sure getting the money. So realize that he paid us for all of this up front. Like there was actually a fee for us to handle all this stuff. And then boom, now we actually got the okay, got the money, put in the permit. Now he had to wait another 4 months for the permit to actually happen. And he had paid us up here. And then the bank cut us a check during the permitting process, and then we actually started rolling. So I wanted to tell you that story to kind of illustrate the number of steps that go into it, you know, and I'm sorry that I couldn't tell you the exact person, because, you know, confidentiality, whatever. With our type of clients, we can't be putting all their stuff out there. It's you know, if you're that type of person, then you understand what I'm saying. But the simplicity is there's a lot of steps that go into it, but it doesn't mean it's impossible. And like at Home Love Construction, for example, we have a finance consult program where literally there's a fee and you just pay us that fee and we help get you through we literally help get you money. Now, to be clear, we're not a bank, we're not a lender. We don't actually lend you the money, but we help prepare everything so that you actually have a shot at getting the money versus you doing it, which maybe if you're a lender, okay, cool, maybe you know everything to do to get it. But for us, having done it quite a few times, there's just this typical song and dance. They want to see this, and this has to be done before we submit it, blah, blah, blah. We can actually smooth that process out. And that's what we like to do for people. Now, is it a good idea to do this? Well, currently, what you're gonna find is that home interest rates, like this is being shot in May of 2023. Right now, interest rates are pretty high. So your renovation loan interest rates are gonna be high as well. Typically your renovation loans are sitting 1% to 2% higher, but sometimes more. That's not a guarantee, blah, 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 whatever I have to say here. You know, it's not a guarantee, but usually they're a couple points higher than your standard mortgage rates. But what happens is you don't usually pay interest at that renovation loan rate. Like usually what you're doing is you're just paying interest during the project. Like for that major project, we had a 12-month period where it was interest only. So we got the project done in those 12 months and the client only paid interest, he didn't pay any principal. Then at the end of the project, they could do a reappraisal and basically a bank inspection to make sure that we built what we said we were gonna build. And then they roll it all into one big fat mortgage. And then now that comes down typically to whatever the standard mortgage rates are. You know, I don't even know what they are right now, 5 or 6%, something crazy. But that's how that works. You pay a little more interest, but not principal while the renovation is going on. And then boom, it gets all wrapped into a refi. And then you have a new mortgage that's just at a higher amount because you have a bigger house. So Now, this is not any type of guarantee or promise that it's going to be that way if you do a construction loan. I'm telling you what I've experienced as a contractor doing this on multiple projects and seeing how it actually works and seeing how it goes right. I've also seen it where people don't get funding. And for a long time, actually, we literally just turned people away who wanted funding. And we were like, we don't do those. And that's what most contractors do. Now, at Home Love Construction, we're trying to pull construction into the future. Part of that is people use debt in 2023. People use debt to buy things. They buy things on credit, they get loans, whatever. Like, why use your own money when you can get someone else to give you money to buy something? It's totally logical and makes sense. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to pull things into the future. So we're trying to actually make it easy to do business with us by taking on clients who use financing. Most contractors don't do that because they're like, well, I'll continue to work for this small circle of people who I know who have so much money they don't know what to do with it, so they'll just spend it on renovations, which is cool. Like, we have clients like that, and that's great. But we want to also be able to service people who maybe don't have $1 million in cash sitting in the bank to double the size of their home. So that said, this is kind of a brief statement. I mean, I know I went into a lot of detail here, but this is actually a very brief, relatively concise statement of what it actually requires to do like a kind of a financing thing for your renovation. So if you want help with this, you can go to homelove.construction, click our get a quote. You know, you can do our instant estimate form, and just in the notes, just add, you know, there should actually be a prompt saying like, are you looking for financing? You can say yes. Now, to be clear, we are not a lender. We don't do financing, but we know people who do, and we actually have a consultation where we can help prepare everything for that and get you ready to actually get approved for financing. And knowing that you're going for financing, we can be very conscious of designing something. Like, part of that is doing a design. We can actually design something that is lendable, like something where there's a lot of tangible, like something that will actually appraise. Now, that's all based on our past experience, and obviously it doesn't guarantee a result, but look, we know what we're doing. We've done this enough times that we know how somebody's home is going to appraise after we build on an addition or whatever we're going to do. So that said, if you want help with that, you can go to homelove.construction. You can click get a quote, mention you want financing, and we'll be happy to help you with that. So that said, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button below, smash it if you're into that. It really does help me out a lot. Like, if you can please just do one thing for me. Even if you're never gonna do a project with us, you don't need financing, it's all good, you were just curious, hit the subscribe button. Like, it costs you nothing, but it benefits us a lot because it helps me to reach more people and help them with stuff like this. I hope it's coming through that my intention here is to help. Like, I wanna actually share information that is real and useful for people. Like, this is not like BS. I'm just sharing my experiences with you and what I've seen that actually works and gets results. There's a lot that doesn't work, and there's a little narrow band where you actually get results, and I'm trying to help people see what that is in construction because there's no one talking about it. So if you appreciate that message, hit the subscribe button. It does help me out a lot because we reach more people, get to do more projects, and then we share the learnings with you in videos like this. So hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next vid. Peace.